Hi friends, today we are going to learn something about classes in Java. Okay, so what is a class actually? This word class we have heard many times. Means class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4. You studied, no? So what actually is the class over there? Okay, so I am not going for the technical definition in Java, but normally class uh, is a category. You can say class as a category. Means one category of something is together or one category of things are named something. Okay, so class 1 students means what are the students? Those students study class 1 means they will have some features maybe in common. Okay, whatever it is. So class is a category. I am not going for the Java technical definition over here. Okay, so uh, okay, class is a category. Okay, so what in my view, actually, in my view means each and everything which is in this world will belongs to some category. Do you agree that? Means each and every world in this uh, each and everything in this world belongs to one some category. It may fall under more categories, but at least one category. It will be falling under at least one category. So, if you take the example of cow, cow belongs to which category? Living being, living being category, or domestic animal. It will fall under domestic animal category. So, uh, in the same way, car, which category it will be falling? Automobile, sorry, automobile or non-living thing category. Okay, this means that for each and every thing in this world, we may link to some category. We may link to some category. Okay, it depends upon us how many categories we will link it. Okay, so at least one category we may link it. Okay, so this means that what I'm trying to say is every item in this world belongs to some category. Okay, that category will be anything. Okay, then here means suppose I will take an example of a of one class. Let it be boys. Boys is one class. I am taking the example of some boys. Okay, suppose that mm, okay, here this is a class of boys class. Suppose that uh, boys. Okay, what is this class will contain? Obviously, this class will contain boys. Suppose that these are the boys. Okay, this is one boy, two boy, three different boys. And I will be taking another class, sorry, of girls. girls. Okay, what girls category will contain or girls class will contain? Suppose that this is one class, this is another class. What does this contain? Obviously girls. I will color with different blue. Okay, they are different girls. Means boys and girls are different classes, and these are the individuals which are in the class. Individuals in this sense, this may be items, this may be some objects. Here objects means not the objects in the Java, but here normal word objects. Okay, okay. So let it be. So I got two classes over here. One thing is boys and another girls. Girls. This is another class. Okay. Later we'll talk about this girls class. Okay. At present, we'll not talk about this girls class. First, we'll take the boys class over here. Okay. What does this boys class will contain? This boys class contains individuals, boys. Okay. And we already learned that class is a category. Class is a class category, and a class contains some individuals. Okay. So okay, then uh, these individuals actually, why you are saying that these individuals belongs to this boys class? Because these individuals got some properties. These individuals will have some properties. Because of that property, we will say that though that individual belongs to boys class. Okay, means every boy, means every individual or every boy will have some properties. Because of that property, we will say that okay, he is a boy and he belongs to boys class. So this means that every class will have some properties. Means class will have some properties. This means that class will means the individuals inside that class will have some properties. Because of that properties, we'll tell that that particular individual belongs to some category depending on the properties. So that okay, this means that class will have some TIS properties. Okay, so this means that the objects or the individuals, the object we will say the objects, okay, or the items. So objects will inside the class inside the okay, inside the class will have some properties. Okay, will have some properties. Okay, properties means these individuals are having some properties. Because of that those properties only, we can say that these individuals belongs to this class. Okay, so okay, properties. Okay, then here properties will have properties, and what are these properties? Suppose that what are the properties that the boys class will have, or the individuals in the boys class will have. Suppose that the first property is number of hands. Second is number of legs. Mm, interested interested game. Interested game, IG. I am saying it as IG. Okay, it means interested game. Then class of study, COS, class of study. Then okay, these are some of the things. Okay, we'll take some of these. We'll take the four properties. Okay, what are those properties? Number of hands, number of legs, interested game, class of study. There will be some other properties also. They will be having many properties. Okay, but at present we will be taking these four properties and trying to study this class subject. Okay, so first we learned that a class is a category. A class is a category, and a class will contain some individuals or the items or the objects, and each and every object will have some properties. Each and every object, here this is an object, this is an object, this is an object, and each and every object will have some, we'll say that this is an object. Okay, it will be better. um, uh, so what are these things? Objects, okay, or the items or entities, okay, whatever it may be. So these objects may be a living thing or may be non-living thing. Okay, but here the boys is a class means the objects will be boys. Okay, living things. Okay, so what? mm, okay, uh, a class is a category, and a category and a class contain some objects. Class contains some objects. Okay, class is a category, and class contains some objects. Okay, and each and every object will have some property. This is also we'll writing over here. The class will have some properties. Okay, here it is written over there. Okay, not an issue. We'll have some properties, and next thing you'll have some property. Because of those properties only, we'll say that okay, this particular individual belongs to that particular class. Okay, so uh, okay, and each and every property will have some value. What properties will have some value. Okay, means what are those properties here? For boys class, what are those properties? Number of hands, number of legs, number of interested game, uh, class of study. These are some of the properties which I have taken it for the explanation, and each and every property will have some value. Each and every property will have some value. Okay, uh, now what is the value that this property is having? Number of hands, what is the value? How many hands will be there for a boy or the individual inside the boys class? The boys class, boys will be there, and for the boy, how many hands will be there? Number of hands, 3 or 4 or no, 2. And number of legs, Number of legs also 2. There will not be any 3. Okay. So, uh, okay, number of hands 2, number of legs are 2. This means that here the number of hands is a property for all the individuals within this class. Okay, this property is there for all the individuals. Because of this property, we're saying that okay, this belongs to this boys class. Okay, then uh, this property value, okay, means that the number of legs for this individual is same for for all the individual. The number of hands and the number of legs will be same only. No, the property value will be 2 only. See, this is a class of boys and these are the individuals of the boys class. Means they are the object of the boys class, and each and every object in this boys class will have some properties in the properties, and number of hands is one property, and each and every property will have some value, and the value of this property is same for all the objects inside this class. Means the number of hands is 2 for this object, number of hands is 2 for this object, number of hands is 2 for this object, and each and every it is same for all the objects. So that type of property is known as static property. What is a static property? This is the new one. Static later we'll discuss about the girls class. Okay. What is a static property? What is a static property? If the property value, every property will have some value. If the property value is same for all the objects inside the class, then the property is known as static property. What is a static property? If the property value is same for all the objects inside the class, such property is known as static property. What is a static property? If the property value is same for all the objects inside a class, then the property is known as static property. Here this number of legs, number of hands are two properties whose value is same for all the objects inside a class. So these two properties are known as static properties. What are those called as? Static properties. Okay. These two properties are static properties. Okay. Then what about this interested game? Suppose that this is another individual. This is one individual here. 1 second. Here there is an individual called Mohan, and here there is another individual called Satya. Okay, there are two individuals over there. This one is Mohan, this one is Satya, and there are other individuals. I can't name all those things, so we'll take two individuals over here. Here the number of legs for Mohan will be, hands will be 2, and here this also number of hands For Satya also will be 2. So this property value is same for all the individuals in the boys class. So this is known as static property, and this is also a static property. Okay, well and good. And what about this interested game? The object Mohan as a interested game is maybe uh, cricket. The Satya's interested game maybe latest games, video games. Maybe he may be interested in the video games, or he may be interested in uh, some hockey or football. Okay, so here the interested game is also a property of the individuals of the boys class, but here the value of this property is changing from object to object inside the same class. So this type of properties, or otherwise we will take this another one, class of study. Here this boys class contain boys, means individuals, boys. Okay, do all the boys study the same class? No. He may study some first class, he may study second class, Mohan may study some 10th class, Satya may study some 5th class. Okay, but all are boys, so they are in boys class. This means that here for class of study also the value is changing from object to object inside a class. So what is that, this type of property called? I told these are static property, means these are dynamic properties. There is no such thing called dynamic properties here. So it is non-static properties. These are, here the property value changing. So here these are non-static. It is non-static. This one is also non-static. Non-static. So what is the definition of non-static property? One second now. Non-static. Non-static. What is the definition of non-static property? If the property value is changing from o- object to object, such property is known as non-static property. If the property value is changing from object to object, okay, it is the main important thing I forgot. Okay, object to object, but it should be within the class. Within the class, such property is known as non-static property. Here, these two are non-static properties. Okay, understood? So, first we learned about what is a class. Class is a category, and the class contains some individuals or some objects. Okay, so each and every object inside the class contains some properties. Okay, if and the properties contain some values. If the property value is same for all the objects inside the class, within the class, the such type of properties are known as static properties. If the property values are changing from object to object within the class, then the such properties are known as non-static properties. Okay, so these are within the class is very important. Okay, if you don't write this, this will be always true. Okay, this is main thing. Okay, within the class is the main thing. Okay, because this is another class, this is another class, this object value may vary because the individuals are different. Okay, later we'll discuss on that. But if the object if the property value is same for all the objects within the class, then this type of property is known as static property. And if the uh, property value is changing from object to object within the class, then it's known as non-static property. Okay, good. Then actually these are boys, this is a boys class, and these are the objects of the boys class. And these boys, the objects will have some properties, and apart from having some properties, these objects can perform some action, can do some action. Okay, this means the objects inside the class will have some properties and can perform some actions actions and can do some actions or perform some actions. Actions means actions. What are the actions? Actions means methods or functions, or methods or functions. Okay, in the same way here we learned about properties. Properties means variables. variable Variables means variable means properties or variables. Okay, so static properties or static variables, non-static variables. Okay, we learned about static variables and non-static variables. In the same way, every object in the class, apart from having some properties, will can perform some actions or methods or functions. So here, this is a boys class. Okay, these are the variables or the properties. Every property or the variable will have some value, like that here 2, this is some value or value. And what about the actions? What about these actions? Actions or functions or methods, whatever it may be, all are the same. The terminology is different. The methods or the actions in Java we'll call method. Methods here, uh, variables or the properties will have values. Here the same methods will have logic. Methods will have logic. Variables will have values. Okay. So means we'll for this boys class we'll list out some of the methods in boys class or the actions. Boys, what these boys will do actually? Breathing is one action. Sorry. Eating. Eating is one action. And study. Study is another action. Means reading. Studying means reading. Mm, any other action? Sleeping. One second. The first one we'll write sleeping. Because it is the common action, no? Most of the boys will do for a long time. Okay. Reading, mm, eating, playing. Oh, I forgot this. Okay, these are some of the actions which I have mentioned over here. Okay, what I told you that they are all are methods. Means methods means like this only, no? For your indication, I am writing this. They are treated as methods. Okay, means functions or actions. PLA.